Every idea starts with a problem. Warby Parker's was simple. Glasses are too expensive. So they set out to change that. By designing glasses in-house and selling directly to customers, they're able to offer prescription eyewear that's expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials like impact-resistant polycarbonate and custom acetate. And they start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Get glasses made from the good stuff. Stop by a Warby Parker store near you.
On today's Smart 7, Starmer snubbed in Albania, no one turns up to Putin's peace party, and lots more. It's Friday 16th of May, it's National Piercing Day, and happy birthday, Janet Jackson.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
This week has seen the government focus heavily on migration, with Keir Starmer's speech about an island of strangers causing controversy. The PM was on the road on Thursday, landing in Albania to discuss illegal migration and meeting with PM Edi Rama. The topic for discussion was organised crime and smuggling gangs, but the government has also been floating the idea of return hubs in third countries, not dissimilar to the Tories' Rwanda scheme. Italy is already in discussions with Albania about something similar, and there was a snub for Starmer as the Albanians made clear they weren't interested in opening any other discussion until that is resolved. The PM soldiered on, though, explaining why return hubs could be an important tool.
I see them as a really important innovation, and that is consistent with the work that we've done in relation to the record number of returns. And what I'd like to do is add return hubs to that.
Chancellor Rachel Reeves was backing the new firmer tone on migration from the government, discounting the argument that immigration is needed to drive the economy.
We've seen high levels of immigration along the same time that we've had very low levels of economic growth. So I don't buy this argument that we grow the economy simply by bringing more people into our economy.
Thursday was supposed to be the day that talks began in Turkey on peace in Ukraine. The peace talks were proposed by Vladimir Putin last weekend as he tried to avoid a fresh wave of sanctions from European leaders, but the whole thing turned out to be a shambles. Putin didn't turn up for the talks, instead sending a relatively low-level delegation, and although Ukrainian President Zelensky was in Turkey and willing to meet, in the end he also didn't go to Istanbul. Speaking from Ankara, he sounded disappointed but not surprised.
Our delegation is at the highest level in order to make any decisions that can lead to the expected, just, peace. I don't know the level of the Russians officially, but from what we see, it looks more like a sham level.
The US did send Secretary of State Marco Rubio, but despite Donald Trump being on a 3-day visit to the Middle East and in theory being the driving force behind the call for peace talks, Trump didn't show up either.
Nothing's going to happen until Putin and I get together, okay? And obviously he wasn't going to go. He was going to go, but he thought I was going to go. He wasn't going if I wasn't there. And I don't believe anything's going to happen, whether you like it or not, until he and I get together.
There was good news for Chancellor Rachel Reeves on Thursday as the UK's economy outperformed expectations and grew by 0.7% in the first quarter of the year. That's considerably better than the 0.1% growth recorded in the last quarter of 2024, and the Office of National Statistics says the growth was driven by the services sector, including retail. They were cautioning that uncertainty over Trump's tariffs may see growth slow later in the year, but Emma Reynolds, Economic Secretary to the Treasury, says it's a positive start.
There's still much more to do. We need high levels of growth so that people's living standards start to increase. In the last parliament, we saw stagnating living standards. We haven't been able to turn around a stagnating economy in a matter of months.
The former Reform MP Rupert Lowe is back in the spotlight after the Crown Prosecution Service decided not to press charges over threats he was alleged to have made. The accusations saw him lose the party whip and the Reform MP benches shrink to just 4 before by-election winner Sarah Pochin arrived. Lowe, whose criticism of Nigel Farage appeared to start the chain of events, is unrepentant, and he told Newsnight on Thursday that he was a victim of what he calls Nigel's brutal leadership style.
I don't dislike Nigel. I think he's running a cult. I don't think he's fit to be leader. I think he's ultimately a very good ballroom entertainer. If you gave him the power of the British state behind him, he has demonstrated that he is not fit to be wielding that power.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, in association with Metro, Superman gets set to fire up the DCU and F1 heads to Italy. Right after this.
What makes a great pair of glasses? At Warby Parker, it's all the invisible extras without the extra cost. Their designer quality frames start at $95, including prescription lenses, plus scratch-resistant, smudge-resistant, and anti-reflective coatings, and UV protection, and free adjustments for life. To find your next pair of glasses, sunglasses, or contact lenses, or to find the Warby Parker store nearest you, head over to warbyparker.com. That's warbyparker.com.
Welcome back.
There was good news for fans of foul-mouthed F1 drivers ahead of this weekend's Italian Grand Prix, as the rules on swearing have been lifted. The FIA had threatened drivers with potential bans if they turned the airwaves blue on team radios, but they've reconsidered, much to the delight of Max Verstappen, who got a community service punishment last year for foul language. Apart from the bloody swearing, the actual race on Sunday will see McLaren hoping to continue a streak that has seen them win 5 of the last 6 races. 4 of those races were won by Oscar Piastri, and he has high hopes that Italy will keep the run going.
It's just quite a different feeling when you win a race because you feel like you've just gotten by, but to now be winning because we have an incredibly quick car and I feel like I'm driving well, that's very satisfying for me. So that's what I've been enjoying the most. Of course, been enjoying standing on the podium as well, but more so the hard work behind the success.
You've probably seen Brenda Song in lots of TV shows, from the Disney Channel where she played London Tipton in The Sweet Life, all the way through to the new Kate Hudson basketball show on Netflix. She's versatile and entertaining, and you mightn't realise is married to Macaulay Culkin, who hates to be left home alone. Anyway, she is a real-life sports fan with a deep love for the LA Rams, so much so that she's doing a comedy channel for the team. She told E! Entertainment that they take American football very seriously at home.
People don't realize that Mac, my partner, is actually the big sports fan. I'm just diehard for my teams. It's one of the things that we love to do together. We literally have a monitor just for our sports game. When we roll it out, our kids know it's sports time. I'm forcing them to love the Rams, not just football, but the Rams.
We hear a lot about the Marvel Universe, the MCU, but not so much about the DC Universe, but that's all about to change. DC Comics hired James Gunn, the man behind Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, to run a rebooted DC Studios with Warner Brothers, and we're about to see the start of a new wave of, let's call it, the DCU. It kicks off with a new version of Superman, and will be followed by a reboot of Supergirl, starring the House of Dragons' Millie Alcock. But first, David Corenswit takes the cloak of Superman in a world where superheroes have to plan ahead and ask permission, as this clip with Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane suggests. It hits cinemas in July.
Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe. In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're going to be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die!
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. Tender, juicy, and its own sauce. Would you look at that? Well, you can't see it, but trust me, it looks delicious. New McCrispy strips, now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.